What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for an opposition preview for the big game on Thursday night. Tottenham against West Ham. And as you can see to my left of me, Nicky Hawkins, West Ham fan TV.
European champion Nicky Hawkins.
You know? European champions, yeah.
You can't bring that up.
You know what, yeah, with that European champions thing, I find it so funny that your fans go around saying, European champions, you'll never sing that.
What else are we going to sing? You know what I mean?
No, but anyway, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, but we're going to live that one up for a good year, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're going to enjoy that for the year.
So you should, to be fair.
Yeah.
It was the main thing we had over West Ham. We'd have won a trophy more recently than them, and now we can't even say that. But anyway, now we can't even.
You could have won it if you took it seriously, you know what I mean?
But anyway, we're here for the match preview for Thursday night. It's going to be a big game, big atmosphere. Nicky, talk to me about maybe your season so far, because on the back of that great Conference League win last season, I don't know. I mean, you're in an okay spot in the league, but things don't seem to be all rosy at West Ham at the moment.
I think we've got the same problems. I do. Listen, I think we've won games this season just for individual brilliance. I think we was good at the beginning of the season. But I think and people are going to, there's a big debate in the West Ham community about MOYES, How can you not want rid of MOYES? He's just won your first trophy. But I'm gonna be totally honest, right? It could have been anyone in charge of that team. We was the favourites to win that trophy in terms of the talent we had in the squad. You're playing a lot of minors. There was a couple of big teams in it. We was one of the biggest teams in it in terms of the league and the players that we had. So I'll forever be grateful to MOYES. He's brought a stability to the club. But I don't think he identifies problems. And I think, I was just saying this before, he's a bad man manager for me. We've got players that come in, when we get injuries, suspensions, things like that, players that come in that have been so demotivated by him and demotivated by the chances they're being given or the way they've been treated, that you can see it, like Danny Ings, just can't be bothered. Danny's a good player. Really good player, you know what I mean? Like he's scored goals wherever he's been. But you can just see him. He's had to start the other week because of the Antonio injury. Where was it when Bama scored? We was away, weren't we? Burnley. And it was 120 grand a week, and he's having a stroll around the park. He's just had enough. He's just waiting to January, and that's where his problems lie. MOYES, he can't identify problems. He doesn't rotate the squad enough. He doesn't trust enough players, and he's a bad man manager. And yeah, when we past that first 11, there's not a lot coming in because of the way he's treated them. There's talent now, but they're not motivated to play for him.
There must be a feeling with MOYES as well. It's not just I think it's not just so much the results, because I think obviously you're ninth in the table, but you're playing the football that you play under MOYES, which is a lot of the time hard to watch. And there must be a feeling now with the squad you have, like, is there really an excuse for him to be playing the football he does? Because you got the likes of Kudus, Bowen, Paquetá now, you got Ben Rama there. Like, these are, and the first three I mentioned, they wouldn't look out of place in the top 6 team.
Yeah, of course.
They wouldn't look out of place at all. So when he continues to play this football, maybe he had an argument like when he first joined, like, look, we're in a bad position, we got to get points. But now you got these players there; they're good to go. Like, you got a different manager. A different manager could do a lot of those players.
You've hit the nail on the head. The absolute nail on the head. That's my argument. Totally. There's no excuse. If we went out and attacked, if we had Ange, I think we'd be an exciting prospect. With the attacking players that we've got. Defensively, it's the weakest part. You see the goals that we've been conceding. You see the goal that we conceded on Saturday. It's awful. Like, defensively, we've been a shambles. But he seems to just keep on putting the pressure on the defence, which is crumbling. Without Rice, there's a little bit. Alvarez has come in, he's done really well. He's a proper defensive midfielder. But without Rice, we seem to lose control of the midfield a bit, and it puts a lot of pressure on the defence, and the defence crumbles under the pressure. The goals that we've conceded this season, I would say 90% of them are ridiculous individual mistakes. And, for me, when you've got that attacking talent, if you look at maybe if Ben Rama comes in, Paquetá plays in the middle, Kudus up front, Bowen on the right, it's exciting. They could score goals. They're all capable of scoring goals. Paquetá's creating anything. He can pick a pass out of anything. But he doesn't use that. He doesn't utilise that. He's got them all doing their defensive work. 11 men behind the ball. I think this game on Saturday is going to be a bloodbath. The way the two teams are playing.
I hope not, with the amount of injuries that we've got. Bloody hell, like. But like, where are you at with it at the moment? Because obviously you don't seem happy with Moyes. Would you say give him till the end of the season, or you just had enough, get gone now,
No,
bring in someone
to be
else?
fair, we had a point in pre-season. We lost Rice, obviously. But then it looked like we was going to lose Paquetá. When Man City come calling for players, you can't stop them from going there. It would be very difficult. Paquetá, attitude's been brilliant. But there's a point where this Moyes era's got to end. And he's got to the end of the season. Look, I don't mind now. I've resigned myself to it. I've done all my whinging last season, and I just think to myself, look, me whinging about it and moaning about it all the time is not going to change it.
Or maybe you should whinge and moan more.
Maybe I should
get a European trophy at the end of it.
You wanted to see the way I was whinging and moaning last season, mate. But I'm resigned to it because I've got respect for the guy. I have got respect for the guy because he's done a lot for the club. But I think there's a point where you have to hit a point. I think Tottenham were there at one point where you have to hit a point where you've got to progress. Because if you don't progress, you regress. Because everything that's going on around you, you're in a good position. You're playing in European competition 3 times in a row. The league was poor last season, but you've got out of jail there by winning the trophy. And you think to yourself, right, man, maybe now it's time to become a more expansive team to see, the other players that you can attract, or what someone else can do with these players. And listen, it don't always work, but I think. Traditionally, as a club, we go 1 good season and 5 bad. We've had 3 good, and think the board should be thinking, let's try and build on this. Let's try and build on this. Get someone in that can do different things. I'm not going to say better things, but different things with these players, and see if we can progress from this. But they don't do that. They won't do that. So I'm resigned whether he stays or not. I don't mind. At the end of the day, I've seen many bad seasons at West Ham. This is a better one than last season in terms of the league form. So I'm happy with that, to be honest.
Where do you think West Ham should be finishing this season? What's your expectation?
I think it should be consistent. I think top 8.
Top 8.
I think top 8. Yeah, I don't think we're not 6. We're not a top 4, but we've broke the seal, and that's where you came from. That's where your success came from. You broke the seal, consistently playing in Europe, year after year, adding a little bit more quality, Then you see a couple of kids coming through. We've got a couple of kids that could really break through in the next couple of years. But if you look at, say, 2006 Tottenham Champions League, then they dropped out of that conversation for a little while, and they slowly built it back up. Finishing European competition, UEFA Cup. I know it's annoying for when you've played in the Champions League, but that's how you had the consistency and the quality, and you become a consistent, reliable club. And I think that's where you've got to go if you want to break. Because we're never, the likes of us, we're never going to outspend the Newcastles now, the Man Cities. You have to find a different path around it. There's clubs that have got a fast track to success with the money. It's all about the money. But that's why I've always respected a team like Tottenham, because they've done it the right way. You didn't quite get there, but you nearly got there. And I think that's an achievement. And I think that's where you've got to, if you're around that mid-table-ish, sometimes challenging, but mostly finishing just outside, you've got to, just finishing them consistent European places and build slowly. You can't, because if you let that slip for 1 season, then you're back to square one.
And that's exactly what's been happening with Spurs pretty much over the last couple of years. Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte, Nuno Espirito Santo. But from where you're looking in at Spurs now, do you see that Spurs are on the right path, or do you there's still a lot more work to go?
There's definitely work. But as I say, they never quite took the next step after Poch, and they had the quality there, I think. And, a couple of the players that you've added recently, if you'd added them back in 2014, you could have been a couple of time league winners, But, that's the gamble. And that's where, why a lot of people on our side don't particularly want someone like a Mourinho or a big name, because it doesn't always work. It's, different clubs have different fits for different managers, and you have to find the way but yeah, I forgot what the question was now, but
how are you looking at Spurs right now?
How am I looking at Spurs? They're exciting. They're exciting to watch. I mean, not always right. And I don't think you can always see, that one with the high line game was mental. It was crazy.
Have you ever seen anything like that before? I've never seen anything like that.
But you know what? That's refreshing to see.
Yeah.
It is refreshing to see because I think, the likes of Pep and Klopp, they've got such a defensive art, and people try and mimic the defensive art of the game, getting the fullbacks high, playing out from the back and all. It's slow, it's boring, I miss the lump it up to the centre forward and get a knockdown days. I do. Yeah, it's sometimes it's nice when someone like Man City are doing it, but when teams like West Ham or Crystal Palace or Everton trying to do it, it's slow, it's shambolic. Tottenham at the moment. And I don't like to give Tottenham too much praise, but Tottenham at the moment are a breath of fresh air to see. So, I see a video of him earlier actually going, attack, just attack. And you see what happened the other day. Look, the Tottenham of old, a couple of seasons ago under Mourinho, would have went 3-2 down to Man City and lost 5-2. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But he's no, just keep them going. If we lose, we lose. Mm-hmm. It's Man City, it's a free hit. I like that. I do like it. I do like that style of play.
Does that worry you coming into the game this week?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because I just think, the way we play defensively, we've got to try and keep hold of the ball and be patient. But, the way they attack is that if you attack so much and you dominate the ball, which I've got a feeling is going to happen, then you'll find the cracks because there's many there, defensively. We'll try and shut up shop, but we can't do that. We've got to try... I'm not going to say out-attack Tottenham, but we've got to try and play an expansive game and give Tottenham something to think about. Can't commit too many players forward because, we've got these players at the back. But I know what MOYES is like. That's the way I'd be approaching the game. MOYES is just defend, and that does worry me. That does worry me. What
were you thinking when in the summer Harry Kane goes to Bayern Munich? And are you surprised how Tottenham have adapted without Harry Kane?
No. I'm not surprised, and people are going to call me a liar, but because I think we went through something a bit. I was a bit worried at the start. I was thinking, I'm not worried for you, but just worried in general where the goal's going to come from. They could have
excited,
a little bit excited. Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, where's the goal's going to come from now? But like us, I think you lost your main focus of your side. Yeah, someone that's been the main focus of your side for a long, long time. And you find a different way to play. And sometimes, people are going to say, oh, you're just being bitter or whatever, because he's over at the Arsenal now and all that. But sometimes the players' mentality is that they've got to play through him. Like the Tottenham players, we've got to play through Kane. And it's not always the best way, And you normally find you lose your best players, then other players start to step up and they start to think, well, this is my chance now. There's a spot that was never there before. Someone's got to. You got to find different ways to play. More expansive football, different way to score goals, and you normally find that people chip in. Everyone's chipping in now, and I watched that game the other day. It was a superb game, the Man City game. I thought that was superb. Watched the Chelsea one even when you got beat. I think up to the 85th minute. I thought Tottenham, even with 9 men, deserved to win it. I thought they could have been 3 or 4-1 up, But that's football, isn't it? But yeah, you don't normally find that the team galvanises around itself when they lose the hub.
You're looking at Spurs' form now: 3 losses and 1 draw in our last 4 games. Are you looking at that for this game, saying, "Oh, this run's got to come to an end," or is this a good time to play Spurs? Do you reckon?
I don't think it is. No. Do you know what? If you'd have got beat badly, I'd have said, yeah, that's a good time to play them. I know you've had a couple of dodgy results, but they happen to everyone. Man City have had a couple of dodgy results. Got beat by Wolves. But yeah, the run has got to come to an end. I think that West Ham at home, I think you'll be relishing it. Ange with his attacking prowess will be identifying the cracks. I just hope MOYES has got the answers. But I think it'll be a decent game. It's either going to be an entertaining draw or you're going to batter us. I can't see anything but that, if I'm honest.
Tell me about Mohamed Kudus, because he's made a really good start to life at West Ham. I remember we did a video in the summer. We were looking at transfer targets for Tottenham and attacking midfilders, and we ranked them who we want the most. And I think Mohamed Kudus was our number one, who we wanted, who we really wanted. I don't know how much you signed it for. What, 30 million, 25?
45. I think
45 was it? First of all, were you surprised that you were able to get him, or did you even know who he was before you signed him? And how have you seen his start to West Ham?
He's magnificent. And I said this before, like, you know, players like that, he won't be here for long. You know, he's destined for bigger things, unless we do something drastic.
Back yourself, European champions.
No, I think the European champions are not. You know, I think he's destined for bigger things. I don't think he'll be here for long, but he's an excellent player. You know, excellent player, and it took him. And this is what I'm saying about more. It took him 10 games to get in. Yeah. You know, and that's, you know, that's that sort of thing's crazy. But he's an excellent player. He was on the radar of a lot of clubs, you know, and I was surprised. I you know, there's a little bit of a project with the new director of football coming in. You know, signed some smart players, and we're hoping that carries on. But you know, that's where we was talking about the change of manager. Maybe the change of manager's coming with him, because he's the one that got Xabi Alonso to Leverkusen. Yeah. And there was rumours of him coming in. I mean, if there's a chance, I'd take that now. Because I think come the summer, I think he'll be at a bigger club. Well, there's rumours that he's going to be replacing Ancelotti at Real Madrid. Yeah, Real Madrid, yeah. I've heard he's Real Madrid manager. But yeah, if there's a chance, you know, I'm not saying it could happen, but that's sort of progression that we want to see. So there's this rumour of this project. But I think, you know, come the summer, you know, with no manager in place or no one, if they don't do that, or they re-sign Moyes, I think the likes of Kudus and Paquetá's going to be gone anyway. I think unless we can show him that we're going to be challenging for the Premier League next season, which is highly unlikely, then he's going to go. He's going to leave, you know, because he's got a clause in his contract. But you know, they're exciting players to watch. People like Mohamed Kudus, and like how we got him, I don't know. I'm just hoping that that's a sign that there is a bigger project in place, and he's talked him in and told them behind the scenes, you know, this is what's happening here. Would you like to be part of it? And they've agreed to it. It might just be dumb luck. Do you know what I mean? Like it just might be dumb luck. He might just feel, yeah, well, you know, they've put the money on the table and it's a step into the Premier League. And yeah, that's the way it is. But yeah, he's excellent. He's an excellent player and someone to be wary of, because he can score all sorts of goals. You know. Where do you think his best position is? I think he's coming off the wing. You reckon the wing? But on the right. On the right wing, yeah. But Bowen's there. You know, Bowen scored 10 goals this season. I don't know why you don't just stick him up front, because he's done that role before. Well, I was thinking this the other day. I think they sort of switch it, you know, but he's playing Paquetá out on the left, which I think leaves a big gap there. Paquetá's a good player. He works hard, but I think he leaves a big gap on the left because he naturally drifts inside, because he's not a naturally left-sided player. Bowen's got to play up front because we're not playing Danny Ings, and you know, we won't be playing Danny Ings anytime soon. So he goes out on the right. I think he's great there. He does drift in and out of games. I would say that. He does drift in and out of games. He do, you know, be brilliant for 15 minutes and all of a sudden you forget he's playing for 30. He's one of these players that can just come switch
up with
it on.
And
yeah.
magic, you know?
Well, the Burnley game, he was a proper match winner in that game, wasn't he?
Yeah. But he done nothing for 80 minutes. Nothing. You know, I was even saying, get him off. You know, get him off. Like he's done nothing. You know, give someone else a go. And then he comes up with that. But they're the sort of players, you know. We rely a lot on set pieces and stuff. Before he was starting, he's the one that's scoring in open play now. So, yeah, he's great. He's fantastic. That's kind of what worries me going into the game this weekend, the set piece thing, because I don't think that we're that good about defending set pieces. We've got Couto Romero coming back into the side, so at least we'll have some sort of natural centre back in the team. So I think that can go some way to combating it. But I think that is the way that you can come and really take the advantage of us at our stadium. But when I'm looking at the game, I do think with the attacking impetus that we do have, with maybe the defensive frailties that you have, I do think we do have the upper advantage of that. But when you're looking at the game now, what is your score prediction? I want to say a 2-2 draw. 2-2. 2-2 draw, yeah, Desmond. What are you going for?
Right now, 3-1 Spurs.
3-1 Spurs.
3-1. I think we come. I think in a weird way, we're coming into this game actually confident in a weird way, even though we haven't won in 4 games. It's mad, isn't it? Yeah, but
that's what a draw against the champions do.
But even the loss against Aston Villa, right, with the depleted squad that we did have, we came out of it a bit more confident than the previous 2 games as well. It's weird, but I think that's strange that you know, and that does happen. You know, sometimes you come out of a defeat learning more about your side than you do, you know, when you win the game, because you think to yourself, well, you know, you got the likes of, as soon as someone goes down, you think, oh, we're going to cope now. You know, Maddison's been
unbelievable this season. And then all of a sudden he goes down, out for too much. How are we going to cope now? We're going to be able to... And then it does, even though you're losing, and you're thinking, well, we've got problems at the back, but we're still creating chances, and we just ain't got that little, but it looks decent, and you end up coming out more positive from defeats than you do. I thought, looking at the Chelsea one, the positivity I saw coming out, and I've never seen that before coming out of Tottenham after a heavy defeat against
a rival.
Chelsea.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's good, because as long as one of the worst things that can happen is, it's all positive, and then all of a sudden you get a few defeats, and then the fans start to sort of go, oh, hold on a minute. You know what I mean? The moaning starts, and the whinging starts, and the negativity starts. Because once that gets inside the stadium, it does reflect. So even coming out of them defeats, you're still positive, which is only good for the players, because the form will turn back around again. The Maddisons will come back into the side. The centre backs will come back. The team will be repleted, and then you'll be back with that positive attitude. So yeah, it's only good for Tottenham that you're seeing that there is a longer. I think that's where you've been a little bit. No, I'm not going to say wrong, because I don't think any opinion's wrong, but a little bit naive in the past, thinking, you can just carry on that consistency, especially when you see this like the squads at Man City. You've got, that's where Arsenal went wrong last season. Let's be honest, they didn't have the squad, and I still don't think they've got the squad.
It's like one injury to Saliba.
Yeah, and it all fell off. Yeah, and I think that's where because then you start to expect more, but with the, especially when you got the likes of Mourinho and Conte. But now you got Ange. I think you can see the positives and the project and what it's going to take to get back there, and he's got the right thinking, and I think it's only good for clubs when you've got that right thinking. Negativity can spread very quickly, very quickly.
And 100% positive. It's very positive at the moment at Tottenham.
It is. It does feel like we've kind of got our Tottenham back, because Tottenham notoriously not winning trophies, but it feels like we've got our Tottenham back in terms of the fans are on board. We're playing an attacking brand of football, and there's just a positive atmosphere.
Yeah.
Win, lose or draw, it doesn't matter what the result is. The fans clapped the team off after the Chelsea game, 4-1 loss at home, which is just unthinkable. Against Aston Villa at home, we lost. The fans clapped the team off. And against Man City, a really nice draw at the Etihad.
When you've got that expectation, some players, and I think that's where the players have failed you before. They get scared. They get scared to foul. You know what I mean? And and at the moment when you're seeing, they're normally thinking losing to Aston Villa 2-1. You think, when this final whistle goes, they're going to go mad. And then you're clapping them off because you're thinking, you've give it a go, and then they come off and thinking, well, we've got that room to fail. We've got that room. They understand that we're trying our best, and we're trying to get to that point, and there's no expectation. I think it's only good. It's only good.
And it feels like for such a long time there was such a disconnect between the fan base and the team, with Mourinho, with Conte, with Nuno. And now it feels as like Ange is just bringing it all back together. Sonny is captain now, and he's one of the best captains I've seen at Spurs for a very long time. So look, it's all good things with Spurs, even with the dodgy results and the depleted squad. So I'm very much looking forward to Thursday night. I think it's going to be a crazy, crazy atmosphere. As it has been all season, home and away. The Spurs fans have been absolutely brilliant this season. Nicky's going 2-2. Sim's going 3-1. I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs. I actually think we can keep a clean sheet with Kuti Romero back in the side. But I do look at the West Ham attacking lineup with Jared Bowen, Mohamed Kudus, Paquetá. I don't know if Antonio is going to be playing. He loves a goal at Arsenal.
He's a long way off. He's a long way off. It's Ward-Prowse. If you're susceptible to the set pieces, it's Ward-Prowse that you've got to be worried about.
But anyway, that is our match preview. Go and head over to West Ham Fan TV, where we'll be doing another match preview over there. Nicky, thanks for coming on today,
no worries, boys. Pleasure.
And we'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.